All right. 11 games have been played already in the English Premier League. And a lot of dramas, a lot of goals, a lot of, you know. But I'll be looking at my best 5 matches so far that have been played. My best 5 matches that have been played so far. At number 5 is Manchester United versus Tottenham, or Tottenham versus Manchester United. That 2-2 draw game, is at my number 5. Very great game, Manchester United scored first. Tottenham Hotspur replied, and Richarlison scored the 91-minute goal and removed his shirt, and he thought the game was over, only for Matthijs de Ligt to score at 96 minutes to secure 1 point for Manchester United. So that game was a good game for me. When you see, we are Chelsea fans, so sometimes when we see likes of Manchester United, drawing, that game I wanted, them to, but unfortunately they drew the match. So at number 4 is yes, Crystal Palace Bournemouth. That Crystal Palace Bournemouth 3-3 draw. Yes, that game was a thriller. 3-3 thriller. I think Bournemouth we are ahead 2-0 until Miteta scored an equalizer, scored. He got an hat-trick in that match. Very, very beautiful one. He got an hat-trick in that match, and he even after scoring the 90 something penalty, he still had a chance to have won that game for Crystal Palace. So that game is number 4 best game of the season so far. At my number 3 is the opening game of the Premier League this season. Talking about Liverpool versus Bournemouth. Liverpool won that game 4-2. It was the opening game. Liverpool arriving the Premier League this season as defending champion. And with all the money they splash in the transfer market. Talking about Florian Wirtz, Ekitike, talking about Kekes and the likes of them. So it was already, I expected them to have won that game, maybe killed the game in the first half. But fortunately, the Ekitike scored his opening goal for the first goal for them, and all hell will lose. Like, Liverpool, they are back, they will kill everybody. And Gakpo scored the second goal, only for Semenyo to come back second half and score 2 goals to level it for Bournemouth. And Chesar later scored in the 88th minute, and Mohamed Salah scored the last goal. So it was a great game. It was a great game for an opener of the Premier League season, and that game is my number 3. At my number 2, and my number 2 is Sunderland. Okay, Liverpool, Arsenal to Sunderland 2 games. That game was something else. Arsenal arrived that game after having 8 consecutive clean sheets, and 8 consecutive clean sheets in all competition, and 7 clean sheets in the Premier League. They've only conceded, as at that game, before that game, they've only conceded just 3 goals, and Arsenal fans were already saying they are on their way to breaking Chelsea record for the least number of goals conceded in one season. That's 15 goals. So they were on their way to breaking that record because they only conceded 3 goals in about maybe 9 or so matches. So arriving that game, Sunderland was somewhere, ready to hurt them. Of course, former Arsenal player Danny Ballard scored the opening goal for Sunderland, and Bukayo Saka scored. Trossard scored the 78th minute, but what's that his name? Scored in the 90 minutes to secure that point for Sunderland. So Arsenal didn't just draw; they conceded 2 goals in that match. So Sunderland, of course, stopped the clean sheet streak of Arsenal. All right, at my number 1 is Chelsea versus Liverpool. That game ended 2-1 at Stamford Bridge. What made that game interesting for me was that Chelsea got into that game with a very, very shaky defense. Tosin was on injury, Fofana was on injury, Chalobah was on suspension, so we paired Badeshield and Ashimpong. Both of them still pick up injury in that match. You know, with the way the whole thing was, Caicedo scored for Chelsea, and Gakpo equalized for Liverpool, and Estaval scored that winning goal for Chelsea in the 90 something minutes. So it was a great game. So these are my best 5 matches so far this season.